you probably don't have it with you now that you are not at home, which is a big
No,
disappointment.
I don't. It's like the like. I know we're finally talking about it. I don't have the fucking steelbook with me. How ironic is that?
Madam Web, it has chased you. It was, I think Morbius was in the background for a long time. I don't know if
A
Madam
lot
Web.
longer.
And we still haven't talked about Morbius on the podcast, but Madam Web is getting that treatment. And yeah, I feel like everyone hated this. Everyone was ready to move past it. But yeah, Lachlan, what is it about?
Her web connects them all.
Mm.
Forced to confront revelations about her past, paramedic Cassandra Webb forges a relationship with 3 young women destined for powerful futures if they can all survive a deadly present.
Yeah, I think the most notable thing that came out of Madam Web was its promotional stuff, where there was like the one quote that kept going around. I was like, in the Amazon forest when yada yada yada, that whole yapping session. And then very recently, I think there was a clip of Joe Biden when he was like rainforest, and then like he walked off somewhere, and then they play that clip, and the background is like voiceover narration for very funny. But on Letterboxd, it is at a 1.5, on IMDb a 4, and this was just all around a big old flop. I think that Spider-Man Extended Universe, I think SPUM is what it's called, never really took flight or was able to connect its web in a way that stuck. And we do still have one that's coming out later this year with Craven the Hunter. We almost did a double feature with Madam Web and this one, but we're just getting Madam Web out of the way because it deserves to be, its standalone thing among a free feature, I guess, week review this week. 160 minutes for this as well. Feels like it never ends. And you saw it.
Even though we just talked
4K.
about like a movie that is 8 minutes shorter, we were like, 108 minutes goes by so quickly, and we're like, this is the longest
forever.
116 minutes forever.
But you caught it on 4K. Was that at least something that was good? Like, did the movie look good?
My Letterboxd review was, I wish I could return the 4K.
Yeah, no, it's been too long. You owned that like so long at this point.
Return period. Look, I knew I was expecting shit, so I kind of went in just ready to just accept it. But holy shit, man, I wasn't ready for this. Honestly, it wasn't as bad as it ended up being. I definitely have seen worse put together movies. There were actually elements of the action sequences that were kind of entertaining. The whole script, the dialogue is just atrocious. We can just forget every single fucking line of dialogue that's ever said by any of these characters. All I really have to say about this film, now that I've fucking finally seen it and I'm never pulling out that DVD ever again, it's going straight into the bin. I see what they wanted to do. I really do. I actually do see a potential to this movie. So hear me out, Ewan. I would like to spend the next minute and a half explaining to you how we can fix Madam Web. We have to, so you know how earlier I did the Cameron Diaz has to do the Robert Pattinson move, right?
Yeah.
So
you pitching me a Dakota Johnson.
I'm gonna see if you can figure out what I'm trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another movie that came out a couple of years ago, very similar thing. With this movie here, the biggest problem you've got is there's a bunch of characters. Like there are 4 characters we have to follow, 5 if we include Adam Scott's character, and then we have a villain who that villain is like mid, whatever. But there's a decent amount of characters that we are now very quickly introduced to. We know who some of them are in a way because they're technically like a spider person. We know that character, but we don't know who these particular people are, right? People didn't know Miles Morales, but we had an origin story for him, so that works that way. This is the team-up movie. The team-up movie needs origin stories. You don't just go straight to Avengers. You have all of the little stories beforehand. So, here's how we save this movie. We make it 4 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
We shoot it in black and white. 4:3 aspect ratio.
Talking about occupancy.
Tons of slow-mo.
Oh, no. Okay. It's not a cut. Okay.
We Justice League the fuck out of this movie. We Justice League Zack Snyder cut the fuck out of this movie. That is how we save it. Because honestly, there is only one other superhero movie that I hated more than this one, and that is Justice League. And that makes me go, if there is an inkling that Justice League became Zack Snyder's Justice League, and that was definitely a better movie than this, and better than some of the worst that Marvel's put out, and even better than some of Marvel's most recent stuff, then Madam Web can definitely be Snyder cutted.
Yeah, I mean, it's just on a technical level. There is, I think, not from Taha Rahim, who plays Ezekiel Sims. I don't think there's a single line he says live. The villain. There's like a single line.
Oh right,
from that.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
So much of it is like ADR, like added.
Well,
in
I mean,
post.
half of this is reshoots, right?
Yeah, it's just I think all of the like it's basically an origin movie that shows us where these characters potentially maybe end up, but it never gives us the origin. It's so weird.
Doesn't even give us them.
No, it's an origin movie
here's
without
the superheroes
origin.
they may eventually get, and it's like,
So
what?
odd.
What do you mean? It's the midway point. It's like it's the part where they discover they have powers, but they don't get their powers. But it's that for 116 minutes. It's like no one wants that. No one wants the part where no one would watch a hour and a half long movie of Peter Parker walking around the laboratory as he gets bit by the spider right at the end, and then it says "to be continued." Like no one would watch that. No one would watch a 2-episode.
But hear me out.
Movie.
Hear me out. What if he's at the laboratory, but there's a really big Pepsi sign in the background the whole time?
Oh God, yes, of course. My God, yes, yeah, of course. You've sold me there.
Yeah.
Look, all I will say is when I was watching it, I didn't think it was the worst movie of the year. Funnily enough, like I definitely think there are worse movies.
Yeah,
I don't
Borderlands
think it's a good
was worse.
movie.
Yeah.
Borderlands was way worse. I actually think Megalopolis was actually worse than this.
Yep.
I
think so as well. Because there's a movie here. It's just a really badly written, bad characters, but there are redeemable moments in it that just make it more resemble an actual movie that if it weren't cut up and reshot so weirdly, that would be an okay-ish film in here.
I think Megalopolis was worse, Borderlands was worse, I think Drive Away Dolls was worse, I definitely think Rebel Moon, Scargiver Part 2, Scargiver was worse. I definitely think Red One was, but I think it probably sits there just below Red One. I definitely think it wasn't as good as Joker, and I think Joker was just a joke of a movie, but I think Joker has redeeming qualities to it, but I just don't think it's. I think it was probably one of the biggest letdowns of the year in terms of potential, which is why it's honestly right now my least favorite movie of the year. I put Drive Away Dolls and Borderlands and Megalopolis above Joker, even though they have lower ratings than Joker.
Right.
So for me,
Dakota Johnson play Joker in 50 Shades of Grey.
Can you stop trying to link these two worlds together and do the spin-off universe? They're all
sorry, choker. Sorry, wrong connection.
And then remember, and the only thing I've realized whilst talking about the movie, especially after this podcast, is that this movie is like if you were to give this script to Martin Scorsese, I think he would have a heart attack. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 female leads. I think
too many women
wouldn't know what to do. I think he would say, "Look, we have to start at the starting board again. Spider what? Spider-Man." And then Martin Scorsese is sold. So yeah, there we go. Then
it would be up his alley because as you swing with spiderwebs, you're literally there's a rise and fall like every other second as you swing. So should be up his alley.
Yeah. So yeah, look, I don't think it's the worst movie of the year. I
also think most
movie.
of the performances are like pretty innocently bad because they're just in
fine.
a horrible script.
They're fine. They're doing their best.
And I think especially, I don't know, it's also not like I'm saying these are the greatest actresses of our lifetime, but I think Isabella Merced, Sydney Sweeney, Dakota Johnson have been in way better roles that were not as horrible for them. So
yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah. Emma Roberts also randomly Mary Parker and Ben Parker in it. It's just so, hey, here's the origin story of someone who's later going to take care of Spider-Man. It's just odd all around. The way that they like, and we haven't talked about like what her actual profession is, like the paramedic thing of like
paramedic. Who cares? It's not even integral.
And the whole story thing of like her seeing the future and then acting on it to I don't know.
Yeah,
I just want Final Destination, Lachlan. You know, because they see the future. I'd take a spider kill in Final Destination. Just not.
Do you know how keen I was for a Spider-Woman movie?
It would be very fun. Yeah,
I was keen. I was keen for like one of these. Like, yes,
I forget if they, because it's been a while when I saw this and I wanted to shed it off my memory. I don't remember if they explain the different powers that the girls, the teenagers have.
Dakota Johnson can see back in time. Sydney Sweeney has like
Forward in
electricity, whatever I don't know how time works. It's like relative or something. Sydney Sweeney's character can like do electric like stuff. Isabella Merced's character, I don't remember what her powers were, and then no, she was really smart, so she gets
right.
I don't remember what that one was, and then Celeste gets like all of the robot arms, like in
Cool.
Infinity War.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
it's a 1 out
God,
of 5 for me.
This movie makes me really like tired. It's not because we've been recording for 2 hours. It's like
no, we could have started with this one, and we would have been very tired.
I'm actually giving it 1.5 stars.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay.
Because I own the Steelbook and I want to feel better about owning it.
Yeah, but it's definitely the lowest rated Steel.
I paid at
Morbius.
least $40 for that movie, so 40 Australian dollars, which isn't real currency in the state of the things, but
saving Sony single-handedly.
Extremely inflated.